You know, it's funny. Comic book fans always complain about Batman and Wolverine getting too much attention. Why are DC and Marvel always so Batman and Wolverine centric? Both comic book companies often will add Batman or Wolverine to a project to get, casuals and even comic book fans to be interested in said project. And all the times that, a creator will try a different character, it just doesn't usually, for the most part, hit as hard. Spider-Man, for some reason, who was also very popular, no one ever complains about Spider-Man being front and center. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people get irked by Batman and Wolverine, but not Spider-Man? And what character do you think, if given a chance, might be able to compete with these two? Or three. So I'd like to see a female character do really well. I have I've always been I've been an Emma Frost fan since Grant Morrison reinvented the character. And the way she exploded on the scene with Marvel Rivals, for various reasons, just again underscoring the importance of not just beefcake, but cheesecake to comics and the like. But it made me feel like maybe she would do really well in live action eventually as well. They tried her already, but January Jones can't act. So that was a real insurmountable hurdle. Although Rebecca Romijn's not a great actress either, but I think, at least Rebecca Romijn could move really well, right? January Jones is just a lump. Okay, so anyway, Insomniac Games has already done a fantastic job with Spider-Man. Multiple Spider-Men at this point. So it makes sense that they would now set their sights on Wolverine. And they're building their own cinematic universe, which I think is really a great idea. This game will come out in fall 2026. I don't play video games, but I will definitely review the cutscenes. Especially because they're teasing that more X-Men are going to show up. When I just first watched this trailer, I didn't do a reaction because it dropped yesterday and I couldn't resist taking a peek at it. At first I was like, oh, that's a lot of blood. It's very like Mortal Kombat levels of gun, just like gushers, right? Like it was just like, and when Judy Hopps has the streamers, I was like, that's very, that's what it looks like, I guess. But then when I went through it in detail for this breakdown, I saw some really good story teases, in fact. And I can't wait to discuss them with you. And it made me a lot more interested in the game. I'm excited for, DC has recently been struggling in the movie space and the live action big and small screen. They're getting better. I'm excited. But DC did very well in animation and video games, and Marvel kind of had the opposite situation, right? So it's exciting to see Marvel getting more aggressive in the video game space and animation, to be fair. There's a Blade game that, is also taking forever, and I love that it's set in Paris. I think that's a lot more of an interesting place to put Blade. And that's there's no set date for that one, but it's rumored for maybe 2027. I think it's interesting that this Wolverine is very Hugh Jackman coded, at least in the face. But, for many people, that's Wolverine. It's not actually, two things. It's not actually Hugh Jackman. It's an actor named Liam McIntyre. I'm so glad it's not Troy Baker. No disrespect to Troy Baker, but there's been so much Troy Baker at this point. And he kind of already played Wolverine in The Last of Us. And I think Liam McIntyre looks like he's doing an incredible job, particularly sounds like he's doing an incredible job. He does the motion capture, I believe, but, they make tweaks. The voice, though, is crucial, and he's doing a wonderful job with the voice. A lot of you really like the script, too. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I'm going to share my overall thoughts first, and then we're going to go through the actual trailer. So he looks like Wolverine, or Hugh Jackman in the face. And to many people, that means looking like Wolverine. But physically, they made him short and stout, like an actual Wolverine, right? Which is, of course, how the character looks in the comics and in the animation. I liked when they did the joke about what short Wolverine would look like in live action. I'll be curious, Hugh Jackman, I think that, we'll see if Hugh Jackman just sticks around till he's 90. But I'll be curious to see if they do an MCU version of the character because, Hugh Jackman's the Fox universe in MCU lore, what look will they go for? Will they just do like Hugh Jackman light, which I think is what we're all worried about, because you can't replace Hugh Jackman. I'm sorry, even Liam McIntyre. I'm still thinking Hugh Jackman when I see him. But you could go in a different direction, but would it? It would be very hard to make sure it was successful. It's a risk. And Hollywood hates to take a big risk. And then also the suit. The suit, while of course it's comics accurate, it also has like the practical real world buildability of the Deadpool and Wolverine suit, which was built in the real world and looked great. So I like that it's tying very much into Deadpool and Wolverine, a movie that some of you have turned on, but that I still absolutely adore. I will say that it needs more female LGBT, or at least the G in LGBT appeal. Not even shirtless Wolverine. What the heck? Ryan Reynolds knew what we needed. There's a Mystique tease, right? I mean, her suit is awful. Oh, girl, what are you wearing? Like, my goodness. And then Jeannie's supposed, that's what Wolverine always calls her. Jeannie, where's Jeannie? Although the suits they've teased for her are also awful. Can we get some fabulousness in here, please? And other X-Men, as I said, are supposed to show up. Are they all going to look awful? All right. They're like, oh, God. All right. I will say that Insomniac had the exact same problem with its female characters in its Spider-Man games. When you look at Marvel Rivals, which has benefited so much from doing like just fabulous female characters. Everybody gets the treatment in Marvel Rivals, and that's why it's so popular. I can understand why some video game companies are worried about turning up the sex appeal dial because they don't want to get in trouble, for objectifying the characters. But it's a balance. That's what works. You got to find the balance. You don't just quit. You find the balance. You play around with it till you get it just right. For Pete's sake, how do you mess up Black Cat? And yet Insomniac found a way to do it. The game does have big masculine energy. Whew, boy, is it like a pair of those work boots just in a video game form. So that's, if you really like that kind of stuff, it's awesome. They're going to feature Canada, of course, Wolverine's hometown or home country, Tokyo, and then, of course, Madripoor, where, of course, Wolverine has a very long past. And that's where his patch persona comes in. I wish, this game would be more fun to me as a fan if they leaned more into the Wolverine different lore. That's one of the things that I loved one of the things that made me fall in love with the Deadpool and Wolverine movie so quickly was when they did that whole montage homage, right? That was just fantastic. I wish it rhymed a little better, but I have to pronounce homage correctly. Darn it! All right, but montage homage. Oh, that's how, but you can't say it that way. But I like the way it looks. It looked cooler when I wrote it down. Did not work out when I said it out loud. But yes, I liked that sequence quite a bit, and I wish this video game had more of that kind of a vibe. But I'll still take it. So yes, many of you think this script is fire. It's pretty good. Again, I think maybe it's very, I think guys are the ones who play video games the most. Very, guy friendly. A lot of guy deep thoughts, right? Like, bro, that it's deep. And women know what people who listen to the bro deep thoughts. It's a little bit like, some of you felt attacked by Barbie when Ken said, I'm going to play the guitar at you. And then they were like 4 hours later. I mean, that was hilarious. And I think this game trailer at least has a little bit of that same energy. But one line that I did like was when Wolverine says, death, always waiting, just not for me. And I like it because it works in two ways. On the one hand, it's a threat, right? Like, I'm coming out of this alive. But it's also a regret. No sweet, sweet release for poor Wolverine, a.k.a. James Howlett. They never really did. Origin is a great Wolverine comic, and they did it back in the day because the character had become so popular by Hollywood that they got nervous that Hollywood would want to tell the origin story. And they were like, whoo, we better beat him to it. And that was back. Although I have to say I'm sorry, it's a different company, but comic books right now I think are a little weak, which is very tragic. But I have to say the Absolute comics over at DC, particularly the Wonder Woman one that I just read, someone online had a tweet the other day that said, if only I had read Wonder Woman 12 before the spoilers, I think I would have enjoyed it so much more. So I was like, blinders up. And I went and I read it as soon as it came out. And it was incredible to be surprised and to not know what was going to happen. And that's an amazing comic. So there's still good things happening in the comic book space. I mean, a very tiny part of the space, but there's still hope. All right, so what's going on in this game? Well, I think not only is there brooding, but clearly I think there are Sentinels, right? So obviously everybody loves to have their character fight robots or enhanced humans. These are prime Sentinels. I'm going to talk about Bastion in just a moment, but it's obviously great for any hero to fight that entity, because then you don't have to feel too bad, right? They already lost their humanity. They're already dead. You know, that kind of a thing. He can slice and dice with reckless abandon. You don't have to feel bad about it. And also, it gives him somebody who can keep up with him, right? Like Wolverine, has not only a healing factor, but he's enhanced. He can go a lot of rounds. So you need to have like multiple opponents. You have to have, how do you have, cannon fodder that can at least last a little bit to go up against a character like that? And Prime Sentinels is a great choice. So there used to just be Sentinels, right? Who hunted mutants. But when Bastion came along, popularized by the X-Men 9, well, I use the term popularized loosely because X-Men 97 didn't have particularly good ratings. But it was nice to bring a different villain into the picture for once, right? I mean, Hollywood is, they're getting to the point, they need to try some different villains. And so Bastion was really refreshing. Also because fantastic voice casting choice from Castlevania and Downton Abbey, thank you very much. So the Prime Sentinels were built by Bastion. It was a way to improve the Sentinels, to hide them in plain sight. They're humans who can be activated into Sentinels whenever needed. And of course that also, when you have the Prime Sentinels, it plays into Nimrod and Master Mold, who I think are teased in this trailer. All right, let's dig into it a little bit here. Okay. PlayStation is fun. I love to do it. So they say, as you can see here, look at that. That is pretty realistic. You can see the blood and the sweat. Oh, you're glistening a little bit there, babe. Okay, so he looks a little different there. That's crazy. Not his best shot. He needs the mask. Okay, so as you can see, this is a mix of gameplay and cinematics. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so, oh, look, he's got a little gray. Even Wolverine, he's got a rough time. Okay, so there you can see that. I wonder where they all have Sentinel robot legs. They all look like they're wearing short pants, like culottes or something, which is kind of funny, or Bermuda shorts. So there he goes. It's interesting. Wolverine is an up-close fighter, right? He also, not only does he have his weapons right on him, he doesn't have any projectiles besides himself. He's the projectile. But also he has short little arms. So, he's really got to get in close, which, that's why the Berserker Rage really helps. And why, he's got a little bit he's always a little bit angry. He's like, he's got to go fuzzy little animal on you, like that raccoon in Elf. That's basically Wolverine. That's hilarious. I'll never watch that scene the same way again. It makes me laugh every time, though. Okay, so here we go. Whoa. Okay, so here, this is just the preview. All right, so Omega Red, as you can see. All right, PlayStation Studios and Insomniac, thank you very much. Whoa, that was the longest fade ever. Okay, maybe distracted. I was like, okay, dramatic pause too long. All right, so this is, later on we see Mystique posing, I think is the same individual. All right. Oh, that one's really, but you see the symbol on the chest? I was like, what is that? I bet it's a Nimrod symbol. That's what my guess is. It was a little phoenixy too, by the way. So I wonder if that might be, because, the rumor is she's going to show up. I think there was some leaked gameplay with her, which looked pretty cool. Telekinesis is my power of choice if I had to pick one. And I like her pink energy. I don't like it when they make it blue. It's supposed to be pink. It's like Sleeping Beauty. Make it pink. But yeah, I'm thinking Nimrod. Okay. Whew, slice and dice, baby. It's like doing it. It's like a literally overkill. It's like a slice and dicer, like QVC commercial. Oh, he's like, You're enjoying it a little too much, buddy. He looks adorable, though. He looks like a little cute little fuzzy Wolverine. You know, it is inspiring. Oh, there we go. Insomniac Games, baby. Marvel Games, getting in it. Okay, that's the Princess Bar. The Princess Bar is a famous Wolverine hangout, brought beautifully to life with neon. I like it. It looks good. This is in Madripoor and Lowtown. There's Lowtown and Hightown, and they divide up. That would have been nice if they'd separated it. Lowtown is, you know, the more impoverished part of Madripoor, and Hightown are the highfalutin upper class. Nice palm tree, though. Ooh, and there you can see, of course, are the big buildings of Madripoor in the background. Madripoor is a very high-tech city, of course. Okay, with outside seating. I don't like the inside of the Princess Bar. It's a real letdown. If this is the outside of the bar and it says princess with pink and sea green neon and a little crown, right? Get some Disney princesses in here. It's the crossover we're all looking for. What's with the primary colors inside? Red instead of pink, blue instead of sea, you know, oh, there's a little princess crown in the back. What a letdown. Okay. So it looks like, oh, so that's the classic. So he's got to get in close. That's a great shot, though. He looks great there. It looks like that famous Jim Lee illustration that they always have, which I love. Jim Lee, great artist. Okay, obviously. So, and I love that he always stays low and down, right? Look at him. He's like, I'm already filthy. No problem. For a germaphobe like me, I'd be like, ooh. All right, so he's going to cut off that cyborg leg. Look, it's got little toes on it. That's adorable. But not for long. I'm keeping it. Foosh. Why is there blood? I guess this guy thing is still alive. But you can see also the electricity. Look at Wolverine's little legs. So cute. Okay. He's like, I'm not cute. That's what that guy called him. Oh, that's a great look. The mask is great. And I also like how well the stubble is realized on his face. I also think it's interesting they gave him lower teeth that are a little bit messed up. You'll see it in a later shot even better. I think to make him seem more real, right? I mean, those are very nice teeth, but, you know, they're his teeth. They're not, what is that thing people get? Veneers, right? Not for Wolverine, thank you very much. And those have to grow back in all the time, by the way. You know, that's funny. You think every time they grow back okay. That's great. Okay. So here he is in Canada. Squamish. That's got to be, is that even a real word? I think, is that just like funny computer words? Because look at the word underneath. Or are they just making fun of Canada? All right. Woo, baby. Sliding all over the place. More easy kills. I think this is obviously Madripoor or Tokyo. It's looking a little Tokyo to me. Looks beautiful. Looks like a lot of movies I've seen. Okay. As you can see, look, the hat stays on the whole time. How does he get that hat to stay on the whole time? That's incredible. So there you can see the logo again. Not overall. I hope he's going to pay all these vendors back for messing. They can't sell this stuff now. Oh, look, he took a blade. I got distracted. He took a blade, an electric blade. That's fine. You're just making him angry. And you wouldn't like him when he's angry. They should make a joke about that. Oh, they still have, oh no, I thought he was going for a more delicate area. They probably still don't maintain that when they become Sentinels. Ooh, blood and electricity. Do they do the same move and just move it to a different location? Oh, that's kind of fun. Oh, yeah, why did they, it's the same, that's a great cut. But also, look at that guy in the back. I like how they're both paused. They're like, maybe we should just pretend our programming had a glitch. Okay, but that is like, but look, I like this, like, look, he's going to do a little figure skating move here. Woo, and twirl. Boom, I love it. Also, look, I like the practicality of using the claws to slow him down a little bit. This looks like he's going to be in a Fast and Furious movie. I'd love a Dom Toretto show up. The X-Men are one giant big family. Whee! Okay. Oh, the editing is very good on this. They match the action together really well for fluidity. Woo! And look, by the way, he's got, you know, look at him. He's got a really nice suit, you know. He doesn't have to be embarrassed when you see him from behind. He's like, doesn't have to be like, stop looking back there. Oh, look at that security. Does that wall not go all the way down? Oh, maybe there's just actual wall underneath it. I like it. I like pretty lights. Okay. So here's Omega Red. I gotta tell you, never been an Omega Red fan. This looks like William Hurt, R.I.P. I just don't get the character. I mean, I know he's a classic Wolverine. I mean, I don't get the appeal. I know he's a classic Wolverine character. I don't think his powers are interesting. I don't think he's personally interesting. You know, I'd much rather, I guess they could say Sabretooth. It's just Russian Sabretooth, basically. Even down to the blonde hair. So he's like, and he's got a little Doc Ock to him, right? But he's like, but with one arm. I think he usually has two. I think maybe he can go up to 4. Whatever. All right, so, but, you know, you need someone who can give Wolverine a little bit of a challenge. All right. Oh, poor Wolvie. Nice. I gotta say, I love that he maintains his manicure. Okay. Underrated quality in guys. Okay, so he can barely deploy his claws. You got to get him out, Wolvie. You got to do it. I have a feeling it must be important. That's right. Use the ice. Now, this is a great shot. So his skeleton looks a little banged up underneath that. I mean, because, oh, that's right. That doesn't grow back. That'd be hilarious. Like, he always grows back normal parts. But what if underneath? I mean, what if it, like, how does he, like, does he have to, like, be like, okay, we have to take off this part because I got to get this, the skeleton that this flesh sits on has now a big, huge dent in it. So I got to push it back out so that when my skin grows back on it, it looks normal. I'd never thought of that before because his skeleton does not regenerate. Oh, that's amazing. That one looks like it's taken a lot of beatings, but you can see the skin grows over it. So look, this person switches from regular eyes. Oh, hold on. Regular eyes. Oh, no, not this one. Somebody else did it. But you can just see these are computer eyes. All right. Wolverine's like, oh, not for long. Okay. That's so funny. Wolverine's like, say hello to analog. I mean, Wolverine is so low tech, right? I mean, he's basic, you know, he's been around for so long because he's invulnerable, right? It must be crazy for him to live in the world and see how things are progressing. Like with these Prime Sentinels. This one must be an Omega Prime Sentinel. And of course, one of those characters from the comics is Karima Shapandar, who eventually becomes like one of the X-Men characters. Sometimes she goes back to being a villain, though. She goes back and forth. That must be an Omega Prime Sentinel. Obviously, one of the ones that really mean business. I like the red glowing eyes. And it really has no humanity left. So slice away, Wolvie. That's a great shot. I like that he can barely get a hit in, but he's just like, I'll just take whatever I can get. Just let go of me, man. Why doesn't he cut the arm? He should go for the joint so that he can get the arm off of him. But, you know, it's hard to think. As Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So there we go. Oh, yeah, he's using the claws to stop him from falling. I love it. Some cool motorcycle action. He and Bucky should have a motorcycle off. That's great. He loves to fly through the air. Oh, he's taking direct hits. He doesn't care. He cares. That's what when he gets down there, it's gonna go bad for you. So speak about eyes changing. Here we go. Say hello to Mystique. That's interesting. She has snake eyes, but the way that the transition works looks almost like a computer, like pixelated. I hope that effect's not totally done. Who cares? Everybody loves Mystique. It's a good thing this person she impersonated was also so fierce. All right. It's like the eyebrows are pretty close, right? Sometimes the in-betweens aren't very flattering to poor Mystique. But yeah, she looks okay. She looks all right. I think this is not a great design for Mystique. But again, that's the best apparently that Insomniac can do. So you can see here, first she's got still, you know, what are the levels of her ability? Like how could she create a machine leg? Right? Could she do something like that? That's often discussed. Like, could she make a key out of her finger? I mean, I really don't really see her do that in the comics. It's usually supposed to only be organic material, but then how does she do clothes and things like that? That's always been a big question. But I don't know. The leg seems like a bit of a stretch to me, the mechanical leg. But I like how precise her movement is, and her center of balance is impressive. You know, it's that reptilian abilities as well. I like adding reptile abilities to her repertoire. She needs a better hairstyle, though. So kick him right in the face, and then she doesn't stop, but she's morphing as she moves. I don't know how does she create lights? You know, because these things light up. How is she able to duplicate that with her abilities? You would think she couldn't do that. Would be interesting. You know, nobody likes a character that has no obstacles, right? Nothing to challenge them. And so wouldn't it be interesting to have Mystique have to go up against Prime Sentinels who are humans that she can't replicate them in their Sentinel form. But here she can. Whatever. So there she goes for the other one. She's just using a knife. Why does the other one only have a knife? Aren't they in a Sentinel fight? Hideous suit that she's got on. Oh, I mean, it is from the comics to a degree later on. I like the white look, the white suit a dress that she's worn historically. And sometimes they've updated it to like a white bodysuit and things like that. But recently they decided to go like an all black look. They had one, Bryan Singer wanted to make the character very sexy, which is why he just had her not wear anything. And they did that for some comics. There was a great Mystique Wolverine crossover comic. It was really good. I like Mystique and Wolverine. They're a good combo. He sure likes the redheads, doesn't he? We wants the redheads as Wolverine. Okay. What's that company here? Oh, it looks again like that same symbol. That looks even more like the Nimrod symbol. Did that say trash? Oh, Trask! I bet you that's Trask. Who, of course, is obviously also associated with Sentinels and then eventually Nimrod. Oh, that makes sense. And I like that Trask is just one letter away from trash. There we go, baby. That's definitely what they're doing. So he's coming in. Woohoo! Oh, yeah. Right, let's go all Terminator. No thumbs up for you. I don't even want to see it. I'm not going to look. Now, that's a great shot. That's the shot they've been using to promote it. Beautiful. There you can really see his teeth, his chompers, the glint off of the snikt. You can hear the snikt. That's a thing of beauty. I absolutely love it. You just can't do better than that. Okay. I'd like to do a little bit better on the title treatment. So that, I think, is Master Mold. Master Mold is not only a giant Sentinel, all Sentinels are giant, but Master Mold is the one that is like the factory. Like it's the Master Mold, and it stamps out all the Sentinels. And so I think that's Master Mold. And he can move if he needs to, but if he moves, it's not going to be good for you. And I think he's getting ready to blast Wolverine with his peeper, Cyclops style, which is a classic thing to happen to Wolverine, where he gets burnt to a crisp and all that's left is this skeleton. And you're like, how are you growing back from that? There must be some part of his, organic matter still left. You gotta boil him down. All right, so yeah. So he's gonna get bzzz. Okay, and then there's Wolverine Fall 2026, and that's some comic book art there. I believe that's Jacques. That's crazy. Look, that's by the way, Mortal Kombat called, and that's their Scorpion cover for the last one, Mortal Kombat 11. Thank you very much. But he looks good. I think that the wings are a little bit too long and wispy. Like, how do they stay up? You think one would be flopping over a little bit. Anyone who's had to do cosplay or costume work knows what I'm talking about. So there we go, PlayStation. So that's my thoughts on, let me go back here. That's my thoughts on the trailer. I think there's a lot of really great stuff there, and it's exciting to be moving into this space in the games area because, streaming, one of the reasons that streaming has been able to do better than movies is because they have longer to tell their story, right? Noah Hawley, when they were interviewing about Alien Earth, he was crying about having only 8 hours instead of 10. I was like, whoa, streaming problems, hashtag streaming problems. He was like, it's hard to tell a story in only 8 hours. I'm like, whoa, dude, do you hear yourself? But video games have way more hours, like 30 to 40 hours. It's rumored that the new Grand Theft Auto has 100 hours of gameplay. So they can really tell a story. So I'm sad for that, boy. If you want to tell me a 40-hour X-Men story, I cannot wait. I hope they have better X-Men and more X-Men. I'm excited for the cameos for this. All right, so what did you think? Share your thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.